Hey, Web3 Curious listeners. Today's episode is sponsored by Babylon, which is unlocking 21 million Bitcoins to secure the decentralized economy. This episode was shot live at Bitcoin Renaissance during Korea Blockchain Week, where we had the chance for some great conversations with several industry leaders. First, our conversations with the co-founders of Babylon Chain, where they share their insights into Babylon's mission to create a Bitcoin-secured decentralized world, focusing on their innovative Bitcoin staking protocol. They also discuss the journey of developing the concept of security sharing and how it leverages Bitcoin security for other blockchain ecosystems. Then we spoke with the CEO of Trust Wallet, where she explains the evolution of decentralized wallet technology and the importance of educating users on utilizing their assets effectively. Additionally, we had a first-hand perspective on why Lorenzo Protocol chose Babylon as a partner due to its fully decentralized BTC staking and slashing mechanisms. And finally, we spoke with AltLayer and how they simplify and accelerate the process of launching custom rollups for applications, allowing projects to control key elements like gas tokens, block time, fees, and leveraging Bitcoin shared security through their partnership with Babylon. All this and more on the Edge of NFT. Cue the intro.
Welcome to the Edge of NFT, the podcast that brings you the top 1% of Web3 today and what will stand the test of time. We explore the nuts and bolts of the business side and also the human element of how Web3 is changing the way we interact with the things we love. This podcast is for the dreamers, disruptors, and doers who are pumped about this ecosystem and driving where it goes next.
What's up, everyone? Richard from Edge of NFT here, and I'm super excited. We are at the Bitcoin Renaissance here at Korea Blockchain Week, and I have a very special guest with us today. We have Fisher Yu, who is a prominent figure in the blockchain and technology sector, is currently serving as the co-founder and chief technology officer of Babylon Chain. His work is centered on enhancing blockchain security and promoting decentralization. Fisher, it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course. So Babylon is one of the main sponsors here at this event today, and you guys
We are the host.
You are the host, and I mean, you're speaking and you have a lot of things to discuss today. So yeah. I wanted to just kick off with first explaining Babylon itself. So it's focused mostly on Bitcoin staking protocol. So can you kind of explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So the vision of Babylon is to build a Bitcoin secured decentralized world where we extract the security and value of Bitcoin and use it to empower the entire decentralized world. And Bitcoin staking is a major protocol we have developed for this purpose. Yeah, Bitcoin staking turns Bitcoin, the asset, into a stakeable asset for any proof-of-stake systems so that Bitcoin can be staked, secure other systems, and Bitcoin holders can earn reward. And most importantly, Bitcoin staking, Babylon Bitcoin staking, is trustless and self-custodial, which means you don't have to give your Bitcoin to any third party.
Right. It's very important, especially to the Bitcoin maxis that are out there and the holders, like they want the integrity of making sure they hold on to their Bitcoin.
Exactly. Not your keys.
Not your keys, not your Bitcoin.
Exactly.
And if you want to hold on to your Bitcoin, one of the other really cool parts about this is setting this up is very challenging, especially from a developmental standpoint. So how were you able to overcome these challenges while building this out?
Yeah, sure. So many people feel it's almost impossible to do trustless staking because they believe staking needs some smartness on the chain where the token is hosted. So what does staking mean? Staking means the token is locked somehow to provide security. Where does the security come from? It comes from the fact that if you, as a staker, you attack the system you are protecting, then the token you locked there can actually get slashed. Right. Okay, so slashing is the definitive feature of a staking asset. Okay, so now, then if we want to turn Bitcoin into a stakeable asset, what do we need to do? We will need to do something very scary, that is making Bitcoin slashable.
Right.
Slashable, okay? Now, before the Babylon project, everyone believes that slashing can only be done in an evidence-based way. That means you, as a malicious staker, attack the POS system, you will leave some evidence and then on-chain evidence, and evidence is submitted to the chain, so the chain will have some smartness to process the evidence. They say, yes, you just committed some crime, so I will slash the token.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like you said, this is something that it's a new concept, and not just bringing the new concept to explain to somebody how does this work, but to keep the security and the integrity of what you're doing. To be able to overcome that and introduce this and now have other people using it, how has it been received by the community?
Yeah. So at first there are a lot of doubts. Yeah. Many people thought we are just wrapping Bitcoin into something else and do staking. And some people thought, oh, Babylon team will be the custody of my Bitcoin, so I cannot trust them. So it actually took a lot of education. Yeah. So one key aspect is that Bitcoin is not as dumb as most people think it is. Yeah. Bitcoin doesn't have smart contract, but it actually has a scripting language, allow you to define some basic behaviors with the Bitcoin UTXOs on chain. So we just use this Bitcoin script to compose a staking contract that it's not smart, not very smart, but it's dumb contract that is smart enough to understand a POS attack, so that Bitcoin can be slashed if and only if the staker wishes.
And you're making sure that doesn't happen, which is great. And by having this be trustless, decentralized, you're giving you're giving the community the confidence to be able to come and take this new approach. So as you kind of look at the future of what you're building, since it is like a new approach to how you could be bringing this to the market, what does that future vision look like of like how you can further develop this and how it's going to be adopted and used by the world?
Yeah, great question. So if you think about Bitcoin staking, it is actually a two-sided market. A market always have a supply and demand, right? So in Bitcoin staking case, the supply are the Bitcoins from Bitcoin holders. They stake their Bitcoin to provide security, liquidity, and uses to the demand side. What is the demand side? Demand side are all the other decentralized systems in the world, like POS chains, Cosmos chains, Ethereum rollups, Bitcoin rollups, data availability layer, you name it. Yeah. So currently, we are bootstrapping this two-sided market by first addressing one side of the market. All right. Okay. So supply or demand? We should first address the supply, right? Otherwise, there's nothing on the market.
Right. Yeah. You need the liquidity, right? Like.
Yeah. So that's why we launched Babylon the mainnet in phases. Phase 1, we will invite Bitcoin holders to lock their Bitcoin on the Bitcoin chain so that we can accumulate enough supply in the market. In the second phase, we will launch the Babylon POS chain to be the first consumer of Bitcoin staking.
Wow.
Yeah. And then in phase 3, we will launch Bitcoin multi-staking that allow other POS systems and rollups to enjoy Bitcoin staking. So then by that time, the Babylon POS chain itself will evolve into the marketplace like Amazon. You can think of it that way.
Yeah, you're building out a full ecosystem. And as you're getting these, it's called the foundation of the building blocks to realize the vision of what you're building. How's the process been with, as we're now here in Korea, Bitcoin Renaissance. Of course, you're going to be telling the world more about what you guys are building and what's going on. But how has it been received so far by, your community and for people that are coming in and starting to build on top of Babylon Chain? Like, how has that process been so far?
Yeah, sure. So at first, as usual, people are very skeptical. Mm-hmm. But after they read our papers, after we open source our code, and we build our system, testnet, then more and more people become understand and believe in Babylon. So yes, Babylon is indeed trustless and self-custodial Bitcoin staking. Then we receive a lot of pulls from the both from the community side and ecosystem project side. So people are more than willing to build on top of Babylon because we enable the third native use case of Bitcoin. First native use case, payment, but no one actually use it, right? Second is just to hold it,
right?
Yeah, waiting for its value to appreciate. Then Babylon actually enabled the third major use case of Bitcoin, which is stake, secure, and earn.
Right.
So that's a huge primitive. So a lot of people and projects just come to us and want to build the Bitcoin staking ecosystem together. And we at the Babylon project, as the core contributor to this technology, we will focus on the infrastructure building side, and we have a very open mind, invite everyone to work on this together. So I think open mind is very important.
I think so too. And, one of the other challenges within the ecosystem is, putting your idle Bitcoin to use and make sure that's safe and secure. And you address that challenge of like leveraging idle Bitcoin to enhance the security of the POS system. So how is it that you're able to help make that happen?
Yeah, sure. So the reason why most of the Bitcoins are idle is that there's no other native use cases besides holding it and doing payment, right? And if you want to make your Bitcoin work and earn some yield, you always have to give your Bitcoin to a third party, like a custody or bridge it, or you lend it. Yeah, you always there's a counterparty risk where your Bitcoin may get lost. Yeah. So, but Babylon Bitcoin staking is trustless and self-custodial, which changed the game entirely. So then it will be much easier for us to convince the Bitcoin holders, the more conservative ones, to mobilize their idle Bitcoin. Yeah, and because our technology does not involve any counterparty, it's also much easier for people from the regulatory kind of perspective, or especially for the institutes.
Yeah, and I like this approach. It for a long time, the Bitcoin ecosystem has been looking for the cool applications that like Ethereum have, from DeFi to being able to create things like NFTs and all of that. And now you're seeing all of these different types of elements come over to the Bitcoin ecosystem. So finding a first way to use your idle Bitcoin is like that first step to get people comfortable. But then you have these other applications like Bitcoin Layer 2s and all of these other types of integrations. So how do you see Babylon fitting into all these other like things like Bitcoin Layer 2s and other integrations?
Yeah, sure. So many people think Babylon is a Bitcoin Layer 2. That's not true. Babylon is not a Bitcoin Layer 2. It is a marketplace that allows Bitcoin Layer 2 or any Layer 2s to enjoy Bitcoin security and become a Bitcoin Layer 2. Okay, yeah. So security is the baseline, the benefit the Bitcoin staking protocol can provide to those Layer 2s. And on top of that, we have liquid staking protocols built on top of Babylon to provide liquidity to those projects. And also, because Bitcoin stakers stake to those systems, then Bitcoin holders naturally become users of those systems. So those systems will get security, liquidity, and Bitcoin users as their users. Yeah, so they don't have to bootstrap their liquidity and user base from zero.
Which is awesome. And I think that is a really good distinction to put, like, that is a marketplace versus it being an actual Layer 2. And being able to plug in all of these different aspects of the ecosystem from people who just want to hold on and, like I said, not your keys, not your Bitcoin, be able to have that integrity, but then also provide a technology that allows for integrations with these Layer 2s and everyone else. Babylon can integrate with all of these different types of companies building an ecosystem right now.
Correct. Exactly.
Well, that's super helpful. And one of the things that like sets you apart in your marketplace is being able to link up a lot of these different partners. So I know that you have a couple of the different partners here at Bitcoin Renaissance. Can you kind of talk to some of those different types of ecosystems that Babylon is currently working with?
Yeah. So Babylon is a ecosystem that touches many parties. So currently, supply side, we have LSTs, wallets, custodies, institutions. On demand side, we have Cosmos chains, ETH rollup, and Bitcoin rollup, and some ETH forks. Yeah, so it's a quite a complicated,
very complicated
to navigate and to make everyone happy. So it's a grand project.
It is, and y'all are doing an amazing job to be able to bring all of those various ecosystems together, because it means you're fully cross-chain, and it allows for more ecosystems to come in and be a part of what Babylon is building. So one of the things I also want to break down is like use cases. Everyone loves a really good use case. What are some of the specific use cases that Babylon's been able to use so far with your marketplace that you're seeing a great response to?
Okay, so just to clarify, so by use cases, there are two different ways of thinking of it. One is the use case of the Babylon chain itself. One is the use case of the Bitcoin staking. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for Babylon chain, we enable smart contract, so you can virtually build any application on top of it. Okay. And then for the use case of Bitcoin staking, then we have various like proof of stake systems like Cosmos chains, especially Cosmos chains. Cosmos chains, they are called app chains, application specific chains like gaming, social, cloud computing, you name it. Yeah, so a lot of different verticals of use cases enabled through the Cosmos ecosystem. And then we have ETH rollups and Bitcoin rollups that mainly provide liquidity and DeFi use cases for the end users. Yeah, so Bitcoin staking is for everyone.
It is for everyone, and y'all are making it very accessible, which is very exciting. And kind of to wrap up here, like you chose Korea Blockchain Weekend to be a part of this amazing ecosystem here that's in Seoul, Korea, and to come and put on Bitcoin Renaissance to show Bitcoin ecosystem continue to rise up and be a thought leader in this space. Why did you decide to come here to start this and to put on and be a host of this amazing event?
Yeah, so our first Bitcoin Renaissance event happened in March, in Denver. Yeah, it was a huge success. It's the western side. Yeah. So we decided to do the second edition, in Asia, and we all love Korea, and Korea Blockchain Week is an awesome event. There's a lot of people coming, so we decided to do our Bitcoin Renaissance in Korea, so that we can maximize the exposure and allow everyone to come together and share ideas and networking.
Absolutely. Well, Fisher, we appreciate y'all being an amazing host. Thanks for spending some time with us to tell us more about Babylon and Babylon Chain. And just as a final thought, is there anything that you're looking forward to this week while being out here?
Korean barbecue.
That makes two of us.
Yeah.
Well, Fisher, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Josh Krieger, host of Edge of NFT, live at Bitcoin Renaissance in Seoul, Korea. I'm very excited to be here with David Say, the co-founder of Babylon and our host for this amazing event. It's great to catch up with you again. I think last time we saw each other in an elevator, leaving some event or another in some other country. I'm not sure where. It's all been
Dubai, I believe.
Dubai. Good memory.
Satoshi Roundtable. That's the first time we met.
Yeah, that was great. And, it was my first exposure to Babylon was actually Stanford Blockchain Week, I believe.
Okay.
And you guys have been building this for quite some time. We'll dive into sort of that, but I'd love to sort of understand how you and Fisher originally got together and sort of conceived of this concept.
Yeah, so Fisher and I knew each other for many years. In fact, about 6 years ago, there was a bunch of academic researchers that got together from all over the country to do research on blockchains, because we realized that this is a new and exciting area for research, and so we got together. And I knew through that circle. We wrote a bunch of papers together, and then we kept in touch. And then about 2.5 years ago, we came up with this idea of basically security sharing, how to leverage off the security of Bitcoin to share it with the rest of the blockchain ecosystem. Because as we know, Bitcoin is arguably the most secure blockchain.
Right. Many people have tried to hack it and have failed, right? Which we can't say for most other chains.
Right. That's right. And it just keeps on running, 100% uptime, as someone says.
Yeah. So you wrote a paper together about this concept of sort of utilizing Bitcoin's security for a broader use case.
Yeah, in fact, we wrote a sequence of papers.
Mm-hmm.
Babylon has been a journey. It is not like we had a single product. Yeah, Babylon lasted for a few hundreds of years. Hopefully our project will last as long as well. But it's a journey. The high-level concept is security sharing, but how do we share the security? If you look at Bitcoin, there are many aspects to Bitcoin. One is the proof of work, right? Nature, that blocks are generated through this proof of work mechanism. But another aspect is the asset. The asset is 1 trillion value. How do we utilize that asset to provide security? So you can look at different aspects, and we built a bunch of different protocols in this journey. And the current protocol that we're really excited about is Bitcoin staking. So I really love this name, Bitcoin staking. I would like to share with the audience. And the reason is because Bitcoin, everyone knows, is proof of work. Staking, everyone knows, is about proof of stake. It's like two opposing concepts.
It's an oxymoron.
It's an oxymoron. And we throw the two words together into one concept, and that concept actually makes a lot of sense.
So it's a little bit spicy though, and some of the maxis have been contrarian about this, and I guess Bitcoin Renaissance, it's an open dialogue here. You have all sorts of different perspectives in the room, and it's based on your research sort of background, Stanford, whatnot. It sounds like you're open to that conflict and really looking for the best ideas to rise to the top.
Yeah, so correct. And the key idea here is that staking requires a crypto asset, right? Staking is the idea of using a crypto asset to secure a blockchain. And most proof-of-stake blockchains use a native asset. But native asset has a drawback because native assets are very volatile. And obviously, you want a strong security base. You don't want to use a very volatile asset. And so our protocol allows Bitcoin as the asset. So although Bitcoin is proof of work, the output is still an asset. And then we're using this asset to feed it into a proof-of-stake system to provide security.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Bitcoin theoretically, by most sort of predictors in the space, enthusiasts, is set to increase, over the next few years. It could be as high as $1 million at some point based on some predictions. Does the scarcity and sort of potential for the increase in value impact sort of your project, and does it open up new possibilities, or does it close any doors as the value of Bitcoin increases, or is it sort of just a non sequitur?
Yeah, so the higher the value of Bitcoin, okay, in some sense, the stronger is the case for a protocol. And the reason is because the security of a proof-of-stake system is a function of the value of the asset, Because the higher the value, the more secure the blockchain is, because it is a collateral. The higher the collateral, the least you're likely to do anything naughty, okay? And so the larger the asset, the more source of security is, the better for a protocol.
That's really interesting. Makes sense. So as you're looking ahead at sort of the future of the Bitcoin ecosystem, what goes through your mind at this moment, and what do you think are the challenges that lie ahead?
Yeah. So if you think about our protocol, Bitcoin staking, in the context of the development of Bitcoin, I think it's an interesting development because it is one of the very few trustless use cases of Bitcoin. So here I want to emphasize this concept of trustlessness, which is in some sense at the heart of crypto. But sometimes people forget the importance of this. Let me remind us. What does trustlessness mean, right? It means that all you need to do is to trust the Bitcoin network, but you don't need to trust any third party, any centralized third party, for example. And Bitcoin staking is one such protocol. And so we're always interested in pushing this frontier of trustlessness more and more to create more and more use case of Bitcoin. To give you an example, actually right now on top of Babylon, which is Bitcoin staking, many people are building so-called liquid staking protocols on top of Babylon. This is like, you can think of the Bitcoin analog of Lido, okay? Now, unfortunately, because Bitcoin has only very limited capability, all these liquid staking protocol, or I should say, are based on additional trust assumption. So no longer trustless, okay? And I think a very interesting research problem that we are studying is how to push this trustlessness to even liquid staking. So in other words, in addition to staking, you can also provide liquidity in a trustless fashion. I think that is a very interesting problem, and we're working hard on that.
So fast forwarding into the future, is it possible to also look at derivatives and sort of trading theoretically like public stocks using this type of same technology in a trustless manner?
The answer is no, okay? The reason is because trading and derivative, etc., these all have market risk, okay? And the protocols we're talking about has no market risk. Staking has no market risk. So that is the difference in sort of the protocols that we focus on. I think as a project, you have to have a theme, right, on what you focus on. Otherwise, you can do, of course, we can do everything, but when you do everything, then
But there's enough risk without having that additional layer of market risk to compound things.
That's right.
So what are the future use cases that you see 5 years down the road? Is it something to do with gaming? Are there other things that you're thinking about?
Yeah, so what we hope, as a infrastructure project, is that with a strong infrastructure layer, staking, liquidity, then people can build exciting new applications on top of this very decentralized asset. And so we don't know what people will build. If you look at out there, on our board out there, this is a Bitcoin Renaissance you said in the beginning. There are many, many partners, and all of these are building interesting product. Gaming, DeFi, more infrastructure, other infrastructure projects, etc. So it's quite exciting.
What's that experience like, having created a company that is creating this renaissance and having folks approach you with all these different ideas? Like what does that feel like as the co-founder?
Yeah, I think that's one thing exciting about Web3, right? Because Web3 is about open permissionless protocols. And one aspect of open permissionless protocol is that it's very easy for people to build in collaboration or on top of your protocol. So even though we're just launching a mainnet, we just launched a mainnet 10 days ago, there are already many projects working in conjunction with us in building further protocols on top of us. This is not possible in the Web2 world. In the Web2 world, you have to establish yourself many, many years before people will build on you. Like Apple, how long does it take them to create an app store that people can build applications on? Many, many years. But in blockchain, it can happen instantaneously. And this, someone told us, actually, an advisor of us said, hey, this ecosystem around Babylon kind of came up from nowhere. Where did it come from? Because, maybe a few months he was busy with other things and he came back to look at our project. Suddenly there are all these ecosystem projects building on the Babylon ecosystem. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, it's you've sort of created the right environment to fertilize like unlimited innovation. So now I guess the fun is just beginning. Yeah. What else is coming up on your roadmap that gets you excited?
Yeah, so we just launched our mainnet, and the launch was quite successful, I think.
Congrats.
Yeah, we start with a small cap of 1,000 Bitcoin, and the cap was filled within 6 Bitcoin block, which is about 1 hour. So about 1 hour to 1,000 Bitcoin cap was filled, and the roadmap is to increase the cap, and then we'll launch partner projects, partner chains that get the security. So first, we spend some time accumulating the security, and then we will get we'll have integration with many projects, hopefully many projects, to get the security. So that's the shorter term, intermediate term roadmap. On the longer term roadmap, as I mentioned, we are really interested in pushing this idea of trustlessness beyond staking to the liquidity layer. And I think that's a huge challenge. And more research has been done, but I think it's really one of our significant focus in the next 1 or 2 years.
Cool. Well, we'll have to stay connected and keep our audience up to date on what's happening for Babylon and the ecosystem. Congrats again on the mainnet launch. And, this is just the beginning of the renaissance. So lots of fun conversations to come.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
David.
you so much.
And now for a quick word from our sponsor before we dive into the next segment. Are you ready to take your sports predictions to the next level? Look no further than maincard.io, the fantasy management platform that's taking the blockchain world by storm. With MainCard, every card is a ticket to excitement. You can predict sport outcomes, trade cards in the marketplace, and challenge opponents in thrilling weekly duels. And don't wait. Head to maincard.io now and start earning rewards with your NFTs, because it pays to be early. And now back to today's episode.
Hi, everyone. Josh Krieger, Edge of NFT, live at Bitcoin Renaissance in Seoul, Korea. It's an action-packed day of conversations around where the Bitcoin ecosystem is heading, and it's my honor to have Eowyn here with the CEO of Trust Wallet. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Great to meet you guys.
So you inherited this role at Trust Wallet. Maybe you can talk to us a little bit about your history in the crypto space and sort of how it's been sort of holding down the fort at Trust Wallet.
Yeah. So I was more familiar with the crypto space. Of course, in the 2017 ICO craze, I was in San Francisco, and half of the guys in the city are talking about shitcoins.
Absolutely.
And I was more of a contrarian. So when the market was hot, I was like, there were too much emotions and bubbles, cannot really tell. So when 2018, when the market crashed, I was like, this is now a more interesting time to see if the technology and the industry is sticking around. And I was fortunate enough, and funny enough, I was deciding between AI or blockchain to go under, and I think fate just makes me met the co-founder of Binance at that time. So my first introduction to the crypto industry was my roles at Binance. But then in 2021, the last height of the bull market, I find that I'm further away from the development, the innovations of the industry on the decentralized side. That was the purpose what I joined. So I move on with Trust Wallet and try to help grow the decentralized user base and the gateways for the industry.
Cool. And what have you sort of learned around sort of the adoption of decentralized wallet technology and users over the last few years? Like, what have been some of your big insights?
Yeah, I think the users' behavior definitely shifted with the technological movement. So in the beginning, just an example of Trust Wallet, we were Ethereum Maxi wallet only, like a fully decentralized, believing smart contract. So that was a lot of the wallet's origin. And we were just wanting to create a simple software that people can hold all the coins in one app. So that was a very much strong holding thesis. Mm-hmm. And that holding thesis expanded from just Ethereum. Later on, users told us the multi-chain world comes, right? So people wanted to hold more tokens and coins from all the different ecosystem because that's what the development of the industry happens. Yes, we're still in the multi-chain world. There's still a lot of the chains.
Yeah,
So that was like holding, we actually support users to hold 10 million tokens for 105 chains right now. And 65 of them are non-EVM. So it was like a lot of hard work for the past 5 years. But then things change, right? DeFi comes into being. It's more than just holding tokens, waiting for appreciation. It's about also using it, finding other ways to play around with it. Including NFTs coming up too, right? So it's about how to diversify assets, both for holding and usage. And also for us, it's like we're already quite a trusted product and brand in the market.
You got to be. It's in your name, right?
Yes. So we actually we just passed 140 million downloads globally. And we saw a lot of the people come in because of holding. But now our mission and the goals that we want to do is how to educate and upgrade the users from just holding users to users, because that's how you grow the industry with activities altogether.
So you're early on thinking about AI and, of course, sort of giving some thought, I'm sure, to the future of the Bitcoin ecosystem. We were talking earlier about how the conversation around the utility side of Bitcoin is not new. It was around, did you anticipate sort of the rapid growth of the Bitcoin ecosystem over the last year? What do you think is sort of the potential moving forward and the challenges?
Yeah. Before we have turned this on, we're talking about inscriptions, right? I think I was a little bit skeptical with the inscriptions, what the goal of it.
Well, you're kind of a skeptic by nature, it sounds like.
Yes,
in a good way, right?
Mostly a contrary. I don't like to write things when it's like a top on the waves.
I'm gonna call you before I like think about should I buy this coin? Just get an alternative perspective.
Well, it depends on if your strategy is chasing before things get even hotter or, long-term value investment. So I feel that, no matter what's the technology behind, I think the inscription opens up the imagination for Bitcoins more than just the holding, just for payment. And I know the Babylon teams have been working on staking for 2-3 years, and it was not that easy to build the tech. So it's also like a long-term process and realizing it to see that, oh, this now is achievable and do it. So I do find the staking, which rhymes very well with the holding thesis for Bitcoin. That's why users come in with Bitcoin, store of values, or potentially, hedging against inflation, will actually have the next step, logical next steps in staking. And that might be the best introduction to DeFi as well, because you have to understand why staking gives you the yield, right? Like, where does that come from? So there's a much bigger smart contract proof of staking world behind the scene. And I think then you can open up a lot of the opportunities later on. We're talking with Pedro from Wallet Connect, the founders there, and he did say that to truly move on to a more blossom Bitcoin ecosystem world, I think the Bitcoin development community still has a lot to build up the foundational infrastructures, including standards, right? How to even have the standard wallet connection point, how to have some sort of interoperability even within the same ecosystem. How can the different L2s, potential L2s of Bitcoin talking to each other, right? Some of them are tech, some of them are non-tech, but it's more of a combinations of how the community decides to move forward together that helps the trajectory of growth and the speed of the growth for the ecosystem.
Do you anticipate a higher percentage of your future users the gateway will be Bitcoin versus, EVM? And what does that look like right now for Trust Wallet?
I think it goes with what is the value proposition crypto altogether presents to different types of user group. We do have a lot of users coming for the major coins like Ethereum and Bitcoin, even BNB, because we do get a huge BNB community. But we also see many users coming just for USD stablecoin. Well, why? Like remittance, right? Just because of it's a much better remittance scenario, or people just want to hold USD assets to hedge their local inflation or fiat. But then, like, we hold $8 billion of stablecoin not moving for the past 12 months, right? And then thinking about what, not us holding, but the users actually go through us with on-chain, right? But then the thing is, how can we introduce the users to the much more exciting world beyond just a stablecoin, or even use it and exploring it that makes themselves thrive and also help the ecosystem to grow because of the volume and the liquidity. That's why staking is quite interesting, because I think that's a natural low-risk starting point for people to understand what could be your crypto do for you more. Bitcoin, I think, will continue to present its value proposition against inflation, against store of values, self-custody, all those. So no matter whether the entry point come from stablecoin or Bitcoin, for us, the job is how to continue to up-level the users into the world of the DeFi and the crypto more.
Makes sense. And anything exciting on your roadmap that you can speak to?
Yeah. So we are definitely working on the Bitcoin staking. That's why we're here. And we're trying to figure out what's the best user experiences. At the same time, the secure, reliable partnerships underneath there to present to the users. So that will come later this year, or depending on how this whole staking schemes evolve from the testing phase. Besides that, we're also, as I mentioned, we wanted the wallet to transform from holding to using. Then we definitely want to work with more projects in the ecosystem on how to present them to the users, how to get the users' assets moving that benefits some of the project growth. So we will be having a launch pool models to help the projects to debut to the users.
Very exciting. Well, really appreciate your perspective and your insights from your time in the industry, and sort of you have this unique vantage point, I think, as one of the larger wallet providers in the space in terms of sort of seeing things happen in real time and sort of having some foresight into the trends. Yeah. So obviously folks can check out Trust Wallet on their iPhone or their Android or
and also web extension.
Web extension. But if they want to learn more about the company, where should they go?
You can just go to our website, trustwallet.com, or our Twitter account, just Trust Wallet. We'll keep things updated.
Cool. And are you active on Twitter as well?
I was until my Twitter got locked down, and I'm in the process of getting it back.
All right, so stay tuned. We'll give you some follows when you get your account back.
Yeah, hope so. Or podcasters. I'm trying to change another platform, so we'll see. Yeah,
we'll see. Well, thanks for hanging out today, and
Josh.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
A quick word from our sponsors who's ready to navigate the cutting edge of tomorrow's legal landscape. Because at Zuber Lawler, they're not just attorneys, they're visionaries. With expertise in emerging technologies like AI, blockchain, and the metaverse, they're paving the way for you to seize the future. For mergers and acquisitions to IP, their selective team delivers strategic solutions tailored to the ever-changing world of technology. Join us at Zuber Lawler, where the future meets the law at zuberlawler.com. Back to the episode. What's up, everybody? Richard from Edge of NFT here, and we are at Bitcoin Renaissance, and we have had an amazing lineup of amazing speakers and guests today, but now I get to speak with Matt from Lorenzo. Pleasure to speak with you today.
Yeah, nice meeting you, sir. I'm Matt from Lorenzo Protocol, and nice meeting everyone.
Absolutely. Well, it's great to be here, and, as we get kicked off, first let's learn a little bit about Lorenzo. So can you tell everyone about what Lorenzo is and how they potentially can be involved?
Yes. So Lorenzo, we call it Bitcoin Liquidity Finance Layer, but on the first principle, we're the Babylon BTC liquid staking protocols. So through us, you can actually stake into Babylon through us, and we're gonna give you receipt tokens for that. We call it STBTC. So STBTC is the token where you can kind of claim your BTC when you want to unstake, and also we're gonna give you yield tokens based on what POS are actually staked into. So these yield tokens representing your staking yield, which you can claim in the future. And also we are creating a marketplace for all of these future yields for staking to Babylon as well, just to create a pre-market for all of the Babylon staking, not just to Babylon, but also the other Babylon ecosystem POS as well. So there are a lot of things coming together. But on the first principle, for most of the users for now, we are just the liquid staking protocols. We are giving you STBTC, basically the liquid staking token based on all of the BTC that you stake into Babylon. And also, one more thing is we help retail users to actually stake into Babylon. Because, Babylon has a very limited cap, especially in the first several phases. So it's getting super competitive.
Yeah.
Staking into Babylon is actually a real battle and a real work ongoing there. So for any retail users, for example, our smallest stakers is only staking 500 sats. I mean, 500 sats is not even enough for you to already unbond from Babylon at all. So we receive small capitals from retails and help them to actually stake into Babylon successfully through us. So that's also our mission here. Liquid staking protocols for retail users.
That's awesome. And I appreciate that breakdown. Earlier today, I got to speak with Fisher from Babylon, and he was kind of talking about the phase one that you were talking about, and how it is becoming competitive. And I guess the follow-up question that I have is, you could be trying to build this in a plethora of places. Why Babylon?
So actually, there are not so many other options out there. So Babylon is innovative, being the first project adopting fully decentralized BTC staking and also fully decentralized BTC slashing as well. So this is first ever innovative projects. So we are considering working with a lot of these other BTC staking yield sources as well, but there are a lot of considerations behind it. Are you really fully decentralized? Is there any counterparty risks? So we can print receipt tokens for staking into the other projects as well. So, but we need to understand what the underlying risks are there. So if the underlying BTC capitals got either lost or got rugged or whatever, so our receipt tokens just turns into dirt. It's turns into valueless kind of nothing. So we need to make sure the underlying assets are safe and secured and also operated in a fully decentralized way. So Babylon is the first ever project is providing secured decentralized BTC staking, right, and also providing fully decentralized native yield for BTC staking as well. So that's why we feel safe and to receiving capitals from our retail users and also deposit them into Babylon as well. So that's actually really the first project. But there are more and more Bitcoin L2s are adopting the Babylon staking and using Babylon services, which also means through Babylon we can get access to more different yield sources through Babylon staking into the other Bitcoin L2s. And also our mission there is So we're trying to help these like L2s or different POS utilizing Babylon to getting more TVLs. And also when you're staking through us to Babylon, then through them, like our stakers are opting to two things. One, they still get to keep the liquidities, and also they get like yield tokens for like the staking yields from these POS as well. Even if they're like the yield was just like some centralized points at the time, but the yield tokens in a ERC20 that you can like trade them, or if you're really bullish on these like the staking yield, you can actually purchase more from the market as well. Just like to just trying to like to bootstrap the whole Babylon ecosystem, and also liquidities for the whole Babylon ecosystem further.
Getting the liquidity is a very important piece. And earlier you mentioned that what you're building is for the end retail person. So if someone's listening to this and they're like, okay, I have this Bitcoin that I have never done anything with, I haven't touched, and I am, you know, a lot of your maxis out there like, you're not touching my Bitcoin. But now you're providing for some of that idle Bitcoin to have access to earn yield and do things with that. So walk me through the process of what does that look like if I want to come and use Lorenzo to start making my Bitcoin earn.
So like for now, it's like still relatively simple, but in the future, things could get like more and more complicated when there are more POS coming in. So for now, it's like just staking to Babylon. So it's very simple. So you stake through us, you deposit like BTC through us, and we're going to be safekeeping it with like MPC wallets through custodial providers, and also like third-party like, you know, key recoveries service providers. And your assets are safely stored there. And also we can only like, you know, operate these assets based on some predefined scripts for that. So we are not like, we cannot like freely withdraw your capitals to anywhere. We can only use it to stake or deposit only when it's requested and it's reported on an EVM. So there is like a cross validation thing. So that's the only things that we can do with your assets. Your assets like fully secured and locked up in a custodial provider's services. This is one. And we are using like both Kobo and Sifu. So at the same time, and they're supporting BTC native staking as well. So through the whole process, your assets will never leave the like the surveillance and the monitoring of the third-party custodial providers. So this is one. So you deposit your assets into the MPC wallet. And also two, we're going to do the actual staking. The actual staking is very complicated. If you like go through the whole process, you have to break up like your UTXOs according to the rules, the staking rules of Babylon, prepare for the transaction fees, and then you're going to like do like the staking transactions and like pre-sign them, and also then broadcast them when like the whole like staking happens, right? So we're going to do all of these things for you, so you don't have to worry about any of that. But also at the same time, we're going to give you two assets. We're going to give you SDBTC. It's like a yield-bearing assets. We'll give you like yield tokens from like keep generating yield tokens from staking into Babylon. So this is SDBTC, right? And also in every faith, so for example, in Cap 1, we have like already issued like two assets, is YBBN1 and YBBN2. What these assets means is that, so YBBN is like representing your staking yield from staking the Babylon Phase 1 cap. And a YBBN2 is going to be like the yield tokens you're going to have for staking into Babylon Cap 2. So that's pretty much like what we do. So if you're holding SDBTC, you're going to keep getting these like different yield tokens. And also these yield tokens having underlying values of the Babylon points. And we're going to be launching a marketplace for you to trade these assets as well. So you can sort of think about it as a Babylon kind of point like market and things like that. Future on, when there are more POS coming in, so we allow our users to actually customize like where do you want to contribute your like BTC to. And so for example, like you can say like I want to contribute like 70% to this one chain and 20% to the other chain, 10% to like the third chain basically. And also the yield structure is going to be like 70% of the yield tokens from chain 1, 20% from chain 2, 10% from chain 3. So you're going to have like having different yield tokens. Okay. Then different users can actually like trade these tokens, right? Eventually, if they say like, okay, this like chain 1 tokens becomes like super popular, so I can like purchase more from the market. If I'm like, I changed my mind, I don't want this like, you know, chain 3, I can just like sell that on the market. So we're trying to just giving our users options and giving them liquidities and giving them a chance to keep changing their minds on what they do. Right. And also for these downstream POS chains. So we want them to have a marketplace where they can like advocate for their services and they can like competing for more TVLs through our platforms. There are many different ways to do that. So one is that, so we have our tokenomics is sort of like a VE model. So you can vote on your own chain. So have like higher emissions so that more TVLs go through you. And also if your yield token is performing well on the secondary market, which also gives the market confidence that you are a legit project. So more TVL also go through you as well. But these things were happening in the next phase. So for now, it's just like deposit your capitals. We're going to do it like the staking for you. And periodically, we're going to like pay you like yield tokens, share these revenues, and you can trade these like yield tokens on our, we call it Lorenzo apps. It's going to be launched in the next few days so that you can trade these like received tokens later.
Super exciting. So for your retail person, you get on Lorenzo and you can start earning yield that you can then use those tokens. You can allocate it to different chains as well. Yeah. And then from the other side of it, if you potentially are a side chain and you want to link up to Lorenzo, you then can work that way too. So you can get, total value locked and get some more liquidity into your
exactly.
So you're like you said, a marketplace. You're finding your also your buyers and your sellers, but your people who are locking up trying to get the yield and the people who are trying to get the liquidity. So that's really cool. Like I think that's broken down very well, and I think you did that a really good job of breaking that down for us. But one of the things I want you to break down is Bitcoin Renaissance. We're here in Korea. You're a part of this. Why did Lorenzo decide to be here and be part of this experience?
Yeah, it's more like, so for me, like for myself, I would think like I want to devote myself into something like really great, something like really innovative. And if there's a chance, I want my name to be on a history event, right? For good purpose, for good cause, of course. So I've been like thinking, like searching for a long time, like what is the right cost for me to do to contribute like more of my time and efforts and expertise and everything into it to make every minute, every seconds count. So when I first heard about like the whole like Bitcoin staking idea, I just like, it totally blew my mind. So because I previously working in like the trading industries. So what I always feel like, because if you look at the US dollar market, right? The US M1 money is like about 5.7 trillion. But the U.S. kind of bond market, the money market, is actually like about 52 trillion. So it's about 10 times the size, right? So we have Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is like about like 1.4. It's like going down a bit now. So it's like 1.1, 1.2 trillion now. But also the derivative markets for like Bitcoin money market, it's mostly zero now. There's like nothing has been done for BTC yield receipts. There's not really enough market and explorations into like Bitcoin yield generating kind of market, the future yield trading market for Bitcoin and things like that. But for Babylon, all these kind of things is possible. So if you like comparing like the Bitcoin market to the whole like US dollar market, US money market is about 10 times the size of the US M1 money, and the Bitcoin money market, the BTC like a yield receipts market, could be 10 times the size of the Bitcoin size as well. So we have a chance to create this like 14 trillion market size for BTC money market. And also, you know what? So Bitcoin is going to be last forever in a human history. It's not going to go away. It's going to be lasting for centuries. I mean, it's going to be definitely going to be like longer lives than you and me and our grandsons. Yeah. So this is can go like on and forever, which also means the Bitcoin derivative market is going to be on, and it's going to be like 10 times, 100 times bigger than Bitcoin itself. And it's going to be a market lasting forever. And I got a chance to be the first one to create it. That's like how exciting this thing is.
It is exciting. And like you said, you're being a part of history, right? And like you said, the concept of it going from $1 trillion market even to what you explained with 14 trillion, it's just the beginning, right?
Exactly.
And it's just going to keep expanding. So to be here with other thought leaders, to be here in this moment and to speak with a lot of other people who are just very bullish on what's being done here in the Bitcoin ecosystem, is electric, and it's cool to be a part of this. So I'm glad you're a part of this. And for people who are listening to this right now and they're like, dude, you got me fired up, I want to learn more about Lorenzo, where can they go to learn more? How can they connect with you, and how can they get more information?
So you can learn everything from our website. It's lorenzo-protocol.xyz. A website, we have all the docs and also like user portals, and we have a few good friends, KOLs, and also community ambassadors doing amazing tutorial videos for using our platform as well. Super appreciate it. So we were like still a relatively small team. So previously we were very packed with all of the dev works and also early stage plannings, and also like getting prepared for Babylon Phase 1 mainnet launching. And we just launched our Phase 1 mainnet ourselves as well. So a lot of like these works been done before, but later on in the next, like the coming month, me personally and also our team are trying to allocate more time for the communities and having like a more smooth communication channels with all of the communities. So on Discord, on Telegram, and also on WeChat, we're going to have like more messaging channels and group chats being set up. So everyone, if you have any questions, any comments, it's like feel free to, talk to our teams, and someone is going to give you a timely response for whatever demands, even just for like casual chatting, chit chat, whatever. Everything is welcome.
Awesome. Well, Matt, thank you so much for being a part of this and sharing everything about Lorenzo today, and look forward to enjoying the rest of Bitcoin Renaissance with you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Hi, everyone. Josh Krieger here, co-host of Edge of NFT, live at Bitcoin Renaissance in Seoul, Korea. It's been a really special day, and this is an event co-hosted by Babylon and AltLayer, and I'm here with the founder of AltLayer, YQ, who's going to spend a little time with us and talk about his perspective on Bitcoin ecosystems. Great to have you on the show.
Yeah, good to see you, Josh. And hello, everyone. YQ here.
So first, let's just sort of get to know you a little bit better. What should the world know about YQ?
Yeah, so I came to crypto industry like back in 2016, and before that I was doing a lot of research on consensus protocols and also privacy technologies, and then later I basically started a sort of company doing this public sharding. After that, like I was doing a lot of this app chain development and also research. And back in 2021, we started AltLayer to basically providing these app rollups for different sectors in crypto industry, like gaming, social, DeFi, and also this AI.
Cool. So yeah, and we were talking a little bit about this off camera, but essentially the roll-up possibilities have really expanded since 2021. And you all are now offering sort of this roll-up as a service feature for games and whatnot. Maybe talk about sort of the genesis of that idea and, what are the sort of opportunities there that you see?
Yeah, so since 2021, right, we were quite early into this sort of a rollout space. We feel like there will be a big paradigm shift from this sort of infrastructure-centric roadmap to this application-centric roadmap in crypto industry. That's why we started to provide these rollups for applications. And as Josh mentioned, right, we already support like both OP Stack, Arbitrum Orbit, and a bunch of these ZK rollup stacks. And the thing is, like, we figure out like there are a lot of benefits for these projects to set up their own rollups. Like, for example, you can have your own token as a gas token. You can control the block time. Like, for example, make it sub-second. And beyond that, you can also have the gas fee for yourself. And in that case, right, so basically you have the entire block space for your own applications. That's super important for games, social, and also DeFi.
So I'm starting a game. It feels a little daunting to create my own blockchain. If I work with AltLayer, how long does that process take? How much configuration is required?
Yeah, so we have two routes. One route is that you just need to fill in a Google form, and then within a few minutes, we can set up the rollup for you.
Oh, wow, that fast. Okay.
Yeah, the second route is even more amazing. You just need to click a bunch of buttons, you can launch a rollup yourself.
Wow. So it's pretty quick.
Yeah, super quick.
And there you have it. Wow, times have really changed in terms of doing this type of service. And you guys are integrating with Babylon in an interesting way around some of the services you provide. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we've been working with David and Babylon team since 2022, and we were super amazed by like sort of their vision, like basically bringing this kind of BTC staking and to provide a shared security for different services. So on our side, beyond providing this rollup as service, right, we also leverage a lot of research into this kind of shared security. For example, we collaborate with Babylon to leverage this Babylon BTC shared security to enforce the security of different rollups. Like, for example, right now, rollup, there's a single sequencer, right? Beyond that, we can basically leverage a bunch of these finality providers of Babylon to really do the extra verification of these rollups. So in that case, you can enable this sort of decentralized verification and also fast finality.
And this isn't just for projects that are focused on building on Bitcoin, right? This security node structure can apply across chains?
Yeah, the cool thing for this approach, soon I will announce in the event, so basically it's quite agnostic to the rollup stack. So in that case, as you mentioned, right, not just for Bitcoin, like sort of L2s, also even for some Ethereum L2s, and we can leverage the same set of stacks. We work with Babylon to enable this extra security. Basically, it's a BTC level security for these rollups. So in that case, you can see, right, even it's an Ethereum rollup, but you can get extra security from BTC. That's the very cool part. Like sort of you enjoy like sort of the expressive needs of the EVM, but at the same time, you can also get the security guarantee from BTC.
Very cool. So obviously, there's some Bitcoin maxis out there that are all about protecting their keys. If they don't hold their Bitcoin and hold their keys, then it's not theirs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what's your perspective on what Babylon is doing and how the level of security it offers these traditional maxis?
Yeah, so it's a super good question. Because a lot of my friends, originally they were doing a lot of Bitcoin mining a few years ago before I even enter into this crypto industry. So the thing, as you mentioned, right, a lot of these OGs in Bitcoin industry, they prefer just holding like sort of the Bitcoin in their hardware wallets. So that's also the cool part when I talk to David and the Babylon team. So for them, they are like basically the highest priority to make everything permissionless. If you look at the design of Babylon, right, it's quite different from the other like Bitcoin projects. Like they have this super long like white paper just to prove that okay, BTC native staking is doable. Yeah, they're quite conservative, like sort of on this Bitcoin, like as you mentioned, right, this kind of permissionless setup. So that's a part I feel like this Babylon's BTC native staking is a huge thing for Bitcoin ecosystem. It's not just for enabling extra use for the Bitcoin holders, but at the same time, they are really trying to explore the permissionless setup for staking and probably later also for different services on top of Babylon and further on top of this BTC staking. Yeah.
Appreciate your perspective on that. And I really appreciate also how Babylon and you all are creating this open forum for discussions of the future of Bitcoin, right? Everyone's invited to the table to be part of the conversation. It's about how do we sort of build this ecosystem. We've traveled all around the world this year and seen more and more Bitcoin-centered events and side events and events on top of events. And there's a lot of energy right now. BTC Nashville looked completely different this year.
Yeah.
What's your perspective on where all of this Bitcoin ecosystem development is going?
Yeah, as you mentioned, right, for the past like sort of 1 year, we really witness there are more and more developers in Bitcoin ecosystem. Probably more developers than what I've seen for the past like sort of 10 years. So this year, I mean, the new developers. That's definitely super good. I mean, for this Bitcoin ecosystem, because the thing is like with Babylon, probably some new projects who's pushing the OPCAT and all these sort of new opcodes for Bitcoin, right? So these new developers really want to build like sort of new products on top of Bitcoin. And when we have, as you mentioned, right, this venue to really gather all developers together, to have them to build this open and permissionless like sort of ecosystem, that's super great. And not just for Bitcoin ecosystem, also globally. I mean, it's very good for crypto industry in general. Like we can show people like, okay, Bitcoin originally is just for peer-to-peer payment. But right now, probably we can also use Bitcoin to secure some extra services, like rollups we provide, and probably in the future also for games, DeFi, and even AI. So that's something like we can really make this Bitcoin industry and ecosystem like much bigger, because we can definitely have more players in the space, right? Yeah, no longer just Bitcoin miners and holders. So we can probably have more application builders and users. That's something I just feel like it really make the space much stronger. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate your perspective. And it sounds like you feel like the work being done on the ground by Babylon and by AltLayer has broader sort of implications for mass adoption of crypto based on sort of this improved security landscape that's being created. Is that fair to say?
Yes. So for a lot of my friends, typically I told them, so with this new setup, right? For example, the BTC staking and further with these actual services, we can leverage this shared security. Basically, we are providing more opportunities for building applications like sort of in a much bigger scope. Yeah, as you just mentioned, right? Previously, we probably really focusing on like DeFi and trading. But with this new shared security and a much easy way to launch rollups, we can definitely build a much like sort of bigger, landscape for applications. Like previously, as you mentioned, a lot of applications they stuck with deploying smart contracts and probably the fee too high. And right now, if we can launch different like sort of rollups or block space for them, it's sort of like you control your own chain. You control your own server. You don't really have the limits anymore.
Control your own destiny.
Yes, and basically you can really build whatever you want with the sub-second latency, with all the fees collected by you. By itself, it becomes like an ecosystem for yourself. That's something, for the past few years, we don't really have the chance to do that. But right now, I believe the infrastructure is quite ready. And it's like for the next few years, a lot of the application developer, they can start to just focus on their business logic. They don't need to worry about, how to launch.
It's like the next update of Windows or Mac. You just hit update and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just click, done. You don't need to worry about your underlying infrastructure anymore.
Well, this has been really enlightening. I learned a lot from you. Appreciate your time here. If someone's ready to like click a few buttons and create their next rollup or learn more about AltLayer, where do they go?
Yeah, they can just go to our website, AltLayer.io. Yeah, it's amazing.
Cool. And are you on X? Can people find AltLayer and you on X as well?
Oh yes, my like AltLayer, it's alt_layer, and for my Twitter like sort of handle is YQ_ACC.
All right. Thanks for hanging out, YQ.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
The views and opinions expressed on Edge of NFT reflect solely those views and opinions of the show hosts and its guests. Please make sure to do your own research. Our show is not financial advice. You understand that you are using any and all information available on or through this podcast at your own risk. Whenever making financial decisions, we recommend doing your own research and talking to your accountant for financial advice. From time to time, we may feature sponsored content on the show for which we receive value, and we may share links for which we receive a commission if you make a purchase through one of those links. Refer to our website, www.edgeofnft.com, for our full disclaimer, terms and conditions, and privacy policy.